let's dissect this, because there's two different things here going on, I think.
Yes.
I find it interesting where your thought process is going. So on one hand, we have you saying that most small businesses can't even afford a mandatory minimum wage because they can only afford what they're paying now. So that's what you're saying there. And we can't compare them to Apple or Amazon or the big box stores because they're just not that size. I get that.
Yes.
So there's that. Now on the other side, we've looked at the big businesses, and you've said that you've heard an argument made that maybe they should pay more, maybe they could pay more. My question though is, do they need to? How much is a job worth? And I get that is a loaded question because it just depends on what the employee is actually doing. But let's talk about that. Say I am the CEO of a multi-million-dollar conglomerate, and I have cash in the bank. I am liquid. I am wealthy. I'm very wealthy. I give away a lot of my money personally. I'm into philanthropy. I'm that kind of person. And I've a customer service team, and I pay my customer service team the industry standard rate plus some spiffs or some raises throughout the years based on how long they've been with me and what their skill set is. Would you be able to make the argument that just because I can means that I then should pay that customer service person $30+ an hour when the industry standard rate for that kind of work tends to be between $12 and $15 an hour? What do you think?
So, I love that question because I actually believe in paying people like on my team. I want to pay them more than what the industry standard rate is. I want to do that.
Okay.
The problem I have is the word should.
Right. Yeah.
Because then that, to me, that means you kind of are forced to do it. Some employees are worth more based on their production levels, the value they bring to the company. They're worth more than the industry standard. They're A players, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Superstars, whatever you want to call them.
True believers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some employees do enough just to get by and not get fired.
Right.
So that to me is an unfairness thing. Okay, let's say the $15 minimum wage thing, let's tie this all back. Why shouldn't that one person, who's a superstar A player doing everything they can in their power to grow the company, to grow the business, bringing value to the company, bringing clients to the company, why shouldn't they make $30 an hour? Why should the person who's just kind of getting by, why shouldn't they make $5, $10 an hour? Why should they make 15? The should thing, again, that's the whole thing about this entire argument that bothers me.
Isn't that the argument, right? People say, no, they should be paid, should across the board. And it's on you to hire good employees. So if they're bad employees, that's a character flaw and that's on you.
Yes, and that, again, I believe in extreme ownership, and I believe that to a large degree is the leadership's role, to find the best people, to train them, to coach them along, to help them.
Yeah.
But that's not always going to happen. That's not. Yeah. For personal reasons in the person's, in the employee's life, for business reasons, maybe outside of their control, for pandemic reasons, stuff that comes up, you just don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and to bring this back to what you said earlier about this quote unquote smaller businesses, let's take restaurants. Restaurants, for example, this is a big thing in the $15 an hour rate. Pay your people $15 an hour for fast food, restaurants, whatever. I have personally, and you have worked in the restaurant business.
I have.
So you can comment on this too. But I've personally evaluated and owned stock in restaurant companies, fast food companies. Wow. Most of their margins are razor thin. We're talking about 1 to 5 percentage points every year.
Yeah.
When you have those razor thin margins, if a mandatory minimum $15 wage is going to come in, this is already happening in my local area.
Okay.
Wendy's, McDonald's. I live in the Tampa area, so this might not be happening depending on where you're located. But in the Tampa area where I live, Wendy's, McDonald's specifically have started to bring in robots and automation and self-checkout lines.
Okay.
Which ties it into the other thing. So if you bring in these $15 minimum hour wage, but the margins are razor thin, and the biggest cost for most companies are the employees, the first thing to get cut is going to be the employees.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
again, I'm not saying if it's right or wrong, but that's just what is going to happen.
it's just the practicalities of it,
Yeah.
according to what you're seeing.